What is up, everyone? In today's video, we are going to be looking at our informative speech as well as our evaluation form for our upcoming presentation. And so you're going to see something very similar to this. And so just click on the instructions for it. And here we have our informative speech instructions. And so for this presentation, for our first presentation, it was 2 to 3 minutes. Our second presentation was 3 to 5 minutes, and now this third presentation is 5 to 7 minutes. Now the point value, it differs. This is kind of an old prompt, but look at Canvas to see how many points this is worth. The prompt. So the overall purpose of this assignment is to inform your audience about a topic of interest. So you all selected topics last week, and we are going to confirm your topics today as well. Keep in mind the topic you select should be of interest to your audience as well. If you've been keeping up with the videos, you know this. You want your topic to relate to your audience. You want to look at the votes and see who voted for what and kind of what your audience is interested in. For this speech, you are strictly relaying information to the listeners with no intent of persuasion. Be very, very careful of this. Remember, you're not trying to change or sway people's opinions or get them to do or act in some sort of way. You're just saying, hey, look at this information here. This is kind of what it is. And I hope that you take something from this presentation and you learn something from this presentation. You are the expert teacher for the topic. Therefore, you must be well informed and relay information clearly. Strive for a narrow topic. A topic will not be well served in the limited time period provided. Remember, if you're too broad, you're not going to be able to hit that 5 to 7 minute mark. If it's too brief, you're not going to be able to hit that 5 to 7 minute mark because you're not going to have enough information. And so there are a minimum of 3 different sources that must be orally cited during this presentation as well as within your outline, which we'll talk about next. I must hear these citations as you speak separately, not all at once. Additionally, the sources you provide must be scholarly and implemented smoothly, well spread out throughout your presentation, and mirror your outline. So for this presentation, right, we have 3 main points as we did for our culture artifact speech. So for your first main point, you're probably going to want to use 1 citation. For your second main point, a second citation. Third main point, a third citation. You see how it's evenly distributed across the 3 main points. So you're going to want something to support your ideas in each main point that you have, and you are creating your main points now. I gave you your 3 main points for the second speech. You are coming up with your 3 main points for your informative and persuasive speech. And again, I need to hear these citations during your presentation. So also, a typed full sentence outline must be handed in on the day you deliver your speech. The outline must include a properly formatted reference page detailing all the sources implemented within your speech. Your outline must be in APA formatting. I have also provided an APA template Word document for students to refer to, which can be found on Canvas, not Blackboard. The outline will be graded on formatting, grammar, and clarity, how well the information relates to your speech. So for our outlines, these are sentence outlines now. It's not like our outline skeleton where you just put a couple of words. No, with our full complete outline APA, right? It's very similar. It's similar and not similar to APA papers in that they're full sentence, but how we go about organizing our ideas is different. And you'll see the template, and we'll talk about the template in another video. But full sentences for everything. It should be in APA formatting, which I go over in another video as well, but I also have a template for you as I did for the culture artifact speech, where you can just open it up and then type your information in there with the in-text citations and then submit it in that way. So then the formatting's already essentially done for you. Lastly, students must implement some form of visual aid within their presentation, whether it be a Prezi, a PowerPoint. So there needs to be some sort of visual aid, which we talked about last week when we were talking about visual aids. And so remember, you need to be fully visible for these presentations now. It's nothing like your first presentation. Refer back to my second demonstration speech where you could see a majority of me. We shouldn't be sitting down. We should be fully visible as we would within a classroom environment. And so with that, you're also going to need to implement some sort of visual aid. Remember, it could be a physical object. It could be a printout of a graph. You could use a whiteboard behind you. So any type of visual aid that will enhance your overall presentation is needed for this presentation. This part is irrelevant about printing a copy. We don't need to do that because we're not in class. All right, so I will have access to your PowerPoint because you will be showing it in a video format. You may send me via email draft outlines or PowerPoints to look over if you would like to see if you're headed in the right direction. These would need to be sent to me as soon as possible, just because grading takes quite a bit of time, and so trying to go through and provide additional feedback can take quite a bit of time, if not hours, possibly days, to kind of get back to you. So remember, if you do want me to look over anything at all, just send it to me. If you have like a brief outline that you're like, hey Cecilia, am I on the right track, just send it to me and I'll let you know. Remember, it can take me some time, especially when they are major assignments, to go back and look at them. So I will not grade your PowerPoint or outline if sent via email. This is simply a courtesy to help students who wish to have additional feedback. And so if you want it to be graded earlier, if I'm able to grade it earlier, you could submit it early and I can go ahead and grade it. But that's not to say that it will happen, just because this is a condensed course. Send it to me as soon as possible and let me know, hey Cecilia, I submitted it. If you could grade it, I would greatly appreciate that, or provide any feedback, I would greatly appreciate that, and I'll try to get back to it as soon as possible. Okay, so that is it. These are the instructions. Now the second portion of this is the evaluation form, and this is very important because it tells you exactly how you're going to be graded. And so for this presentation, it kind of does look a little bit different, but remember, we have a grading scale. This is how the points are distributed. And so for the informative speeches, you're going to see how within the introduction, I am now grading you on how effective your attention getter is. It's not, oh, did you have an attention getter? Okay, cool. It's how effective was that attention getter? Did you introduce your topic clearly? Do we know what you're going to talk about today? Third, did you relate your topic clearly to your audience? Because remember, this is all related to your audience. Why is it important to inform your audience about this specific topic? And then 4, did you give a credibility statement? And you should still be providing that preview, letting us know, hey, in today's video, I'm going to discuss A, B, and C, because that helps with overall organization, which is the next portion. So organization, each point is thoroughly discussed. Remember, we should be evenly distributing our time per main points. All information pertain to the topic. Don't get sidetracked. Remember, you are limited on time. Get to the point. Go over the main information that you need to. Third, main points were balanced. Remember, evenly distributing time. I will be going through and marking the time for each and every single point when you start it and when you end it. And then number 4, use clear transitions between points, letting us know that you're going from your introduction to your first main point to your second main point to your third main point to your conclusion. It should be very clear for your audience to be able to follow along. Next, supporting materials. So each source that you use is worth 5 points. Oral citations should sound something like this. Johnson, 2016, a psychologist and writer for the New York Times, stated, okay? So we go over this when we talk about APA and APA formatting, but the oral citation should be very, very clear throughout your presentations. And so I should be able to hear three very different sources. Moving on, we have our conclusion. You should be able to prepare our audience for the ending, letting us know again that you're going from third main point to your conclusion, restating your central idea, which is summarizing your main points. And then third, ending on a strong, memorable statement, not just, okay, everybody have a wonderful day, I'm looking forward to seeing. No, it's not that anymore. What do you really want your audience to take away from your presentation? It should be memorable. It should be long lasting. This is the last thing that your audience is going to listen to. What do you want them to take away? And then we have delivery. So now I am focusing a bit more on how you are presenting the information. And I do advise, because this week I am going to be grading your culture artifact speeches, look over the feedback that I provide, especially in regards to delivery, just because if you're not fully visible, if I cannot hear you, if the volume is too low, if the volume is too high, if there are distractants taking place, this is something that we want to be mindful of. And we all have room for growth when it does come to delivery, just so that we can effectively deliver our message and other people in general will get an understanding and accurately convey our message to them as well. So there's verbal, there's nonverbal, and then we also have our visual aids. Remember, implement some sort of visual aids. The 2-point deduction, really, you don't need to send me your visual aids. I'm going to see your visual aids on your videos, so don't necessarily worry about that. But remember, there should be some sort of visual aid, and Also, it should enhance your overall presentation. So if it's very clear, if it's obvious, if you summarize it, if you incorporate it well, and it overall enhances your presentation, 5 points, okay? So 5 is like an A, 4 is like a B, 3 is like a C, 2 is like a D, and then 1 is kind of like an F, you did it, but and then 0 means that it was not at all present. And so all of the comments and everything, they are on Canvas. So when you go to where you uploaded your document, I provide feedback on Canvas. I don't go through and write it on one of these documents. This is how it will be graded. So I will go over and give you 5 out of 5 or 2 out of 3 on it. So I do go through each one of these main ones, like each point thoroughly discuss. 3 out of 5, and then I go through and I explain why you received the grade that you received so that you could take that additional feedback, and it's going to help you overall for your last presentation as well. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns about the informative speech or how you are going to be graded, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I know this week there is quite a bit, but just make sure that you reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, all right? I'll see you all in the next one.